AITA for not going to my daughter's wedding? The wedding was on March 25th, which coincides with my other daughter's birthday. She was born March 25th, 2022. She was barely 3 months when she passed away. My wife, not my eldest daughter's mother, has been wanting to celebrate our daughter's life on the date of her birth. I also didn't feel it appropriate to leave my wife on this day since she is still grieving. As am I. And we haven't fully come to terms with things. When my eldest daughter was planning her wedding, I told her I'm doubtful I'd be there if she chose this date. I understand March 25th is significant to her relationship and that's why she chose it. But it just wasn't feasible for me. I was not even in a good place mentally on that day. It was a day of tears. Obviously there is a lot of guilt about missing my eldest daughter's special day. But I honestly don't know if what I did was wrong. Her side of the family has been sending me a lot of scathing messages. Particularly her mother. AITA? I'm sorry for your loss. Info: what kind of relationship do you have with your eldest daughter? Info: so just to be clear, your daughter who is getting married picked this date for her wedding after your other daughter passed away? The lack of empathy for a man mourning his deceased daughter on here is disturbing. I want to say NaH since I don't know the significance of the date to your eldest and you don't seem to begrudge her choice, so I won't on your behalf. But it seems rather callous she choose this day. Grieve how you need to grieve and I am so sorry for your loss. After chatting with OP and simmering on this, I'm changing to NTA. I had followed OP's lead, which is exceptionally cool. But the more I think on it, the madder I get at the older girl. How dare she? It's not just the dead child, but to leave your partner who is mourning the loss of your child on what would have been the child's first birthday? That's a pretty big deal. 1 year ago, the partner who was not invited gave birth to their baby. Their baby never got a birthday to celebrate. Anniversaries are significant. The baby died 9 months ago. It's the baby's birthday, not death anniversary. I really can't understand people saying, you still have a living daughter, when they just lost the baby. These people are nasty. Honestly. NTA. What a great daughter she is. NTA, you have a valid reason and clearly communicated it in proper time. You did everything you have in your power. I'm going to go against the grain and say nah in this situation. Firstly, I am so very sorry for your horrific loss. And send you so much love and a big hug across the internet. You have obviously gone through the worst thing imaginable for a parent to experience. And that date hardly evokes joy as a result. You are not in a party mood. Which is understandable, and attending the wedding would have been so very difficult. Your daughter has special significance herself for that date, which makes sense to use as a wedding date. Also, your daughter may also be sad about her baby sister and may possibly be using the wedding as a way to turn a sad date into a celebratory date going forward. It seems like a clumsy way to do that, but it is possible that this is her intention. Not very many 16-year-old boys would have even tried to step up and be a parent. I find it gross how many people are trying to blame you when her mother decided to pick up and move across the country and make it damn near impossible for an 18-year-old to even consider following so that he could be a parent. I am going to assume you live in Canada. And as a Canadian, I know that 20 years ago, it cost $600 to fly from Ontario to BC. Round trip, and that was a small fortune to me, and I was 26 with a university degree and a full-time job. All of the people sitting on their high horses passing judgment on you clearly have no idea what it is like to only be able to buy cans of plain pasta sauce and noodles to eat all month because you can't afford food and shelter that month. Otherwise, let alone a plane ticket to visit the kid their mother took away without caring how it would impact her relationship with her father. After reading all your comments, I find your daughter to be cold and heartless. Who cares if they met on that day? Do they just not want another date to have to remember? How many people find it necessary to get married on the anniversary of the day they met? Honestly, it feels deliberate, and I also get the feeling that she allowed her mother's family to poison her view of you, and that's why she's so heartless about it. NTA. Edited. To move comment because I posted in a thread by mistake. Nah, I don't think it's wrong go you to not go. You're grieving and you wouldn't have been able to be present emotionally and mentally. I also don't think it's wrong for your daughter to be upset. She chose a date that was special to her relationship and wanted you as her father to be there. You couldn't be, and that's fine. Doesn't mean she can't be, won't be upset. It's unfortunately just one of those things that'll have naturally lingering consequences. The date has passed, and you're not going to be able to redo your daughter's wedding. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime things that won't happen again. There's really not much to be said or done after that point. NTA. I lost my daughter and I spent her birthday writing letters to her. The first, what I imagined that year with her would have been like, and the second, promises of what I will do to honor her that year. I love my son and would do almost anything for him, but barring an emergency, this day is special to me and a way for me to still feel connected to her. Alpha. There is no harder pain than the loss of your child. Nah. NTA. Because you warned her before she cemented the date. NTA. There is no way to go to a wedding and be happy on that day. My daughter died in September. I only went to my sister's wedding in April to get drunk. And I spent half the day crying. That was 6 years ago, the end of next month. While it gets easier, I still spend a lot of the day crying in her birthday and the day she died. I do think the older daughter is a bit of an for having her wedding on her sister's birthday, without considering how the baby's family will feel on that day. NTA. These YTA votes are disgusting. It's been less than a year since you lost your child. This should have been her birthday. My heart goes out to you for the pain you must be experiencing. The fact that some people on here think that the bride's special day is the most important thing going on here is shocking and ludicrous. Your child should have either picked a different significant date or waited a year or two. I think I really think you should edit your post to include some of the info in the comments. You couldn't go for a few hours and spend the rest grieving because of how far the wedding was. Your wife was also not invited, so you and your wife would have been alone and separated by distance. While grieving a loss that's less than a year old, you also would not have felt comfortable grieving around your daughter's family because of all the fraught history between you. She'd already had planned for you to not walk down the aisle with her, and I'm not sure if you'd had a father-daughter dance planned at all. I can understand your daughter being upset, but I really do feel this was an impossible situation. You love both your wife and your daughter, and you wouldn't have been able to be with both of them the same day and still grieve as you needed to. Also, the fact that you were only 18 and did your best to save up and see your daughter whenever you could, spent so much to get any sort of custody, might also help with all the comments projecting about your parenting. ETA. NTA. Nah, and I'm convinced anyone voting otherwise hasn't read OP's replies. OP wanted the day to grieve his daughter's death. That is perfectly okay. And in fact, if he showed up to the wedding in a foul mood, it may have soured the entire night for others. Daughter wanted to celebrate her marriage on a day special to her and her partner. That is perfectly okay, because the wedding is about them and nobody else. Therefore she has every right to run her wedding however and whenever she likes. And she is also allowed to feel upset when a guest cannot make it. It's unfortunate both days happen to fall on the exact same date. But the only I can see in this situation is the daughter's side of the family who are shaming a man for grieving the loss of his child. NTA. This is just an all-round horrible situation and I really feel for you. You made a very hard choice and chose what you thought was right. Sorry for your loss. Now your big daughter is allowed to be disappointed. And you are allowed to grieve and stay with your wife. You lost a baby and you have all reasons to grieve. I'm done with Reddit for the night. Commenters are being totally cruel and wicked. I legitimately feel sick.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.